A young boy loses just $5, but what he does next will break your heart and inspire your soul. He failed once, got scolded, failed again, but what he chose to do after that will leave you speechless. This is not just a story about money, it's about pain, pride, and the strength hidden in a child's heart. What would you do if your grandmother gave you her last $5, and you lost them in seconds? Use one or combine two of these lines for your video intro, along with tense background music and dramatic visuals, to pull the viewer in and keep them watching till the very end. If you'd like a voiceover script or visual cues for the hook section, I can help with that too. Title: Grandma's $5. The sun was high, burning over the rooftops like a furnace. Ali clutched the crisp $5 bill in his small hand. It smelled faintly of old leather and soap. His grandmother had just pressed it into his palm, her voice stern. Buy only bread and come straight home. The street was buzzing with life. Vendors shouted over each other, their carts rattling. Children darted between legs, laughing, chasing torn kites. Ali stepped carefully, feeling the coins in his pocket jingle with each movement. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept past. His fingers loosened, just for a moment. The $5 bill slipped free, fluttering like a frightened bird. Ali lunged, knees scraping the ground. But it was gone. Panic rose in his chest. His eyes darted across the dusty pavement. He turned over stones, checked under carts, retraced his steps. His heart thudded like a drum in his ears. He returned home, empty-handed. Grandma stood by the door, her eyes narrowing. "Where is it?" Ali stammered, trying to explain. Her face hardened. She scolded him, her voice sharp like broken glass. Shame burned in Ali's cheeks. He ran out again, desperate. The street seemed different now. Colder, unforgiving. He searched every corner. He asked strangers, eyes wide, voice shaking. Nothing. It was as if the bill had never existed. As the sky darkened, Ali sat alone on a cracked sidewalk. The world smelled of dust, sweat, and smoke. His stomach growled, but he ignored it. He thought of Grandma's wrinkled face, the lines of worry etched deep. Then, a decision sparked in his chest. He stood, fists clenched. He walked to the construction site nearby. Men were lifting bricks, mixing cement, shouting commands. Ali stepped forward. "I want to work," he said, voice firm. The foreman laughed. "You are small." Ali nodded. "But I am strong." They gave him a bucket. He carried sand. He carried water. His arms ached. His feet blistered. Sweat poured down his back like rain. Dust stuck to his skin. Each breath felt thick. The sun glared without mercy. But Ali did not stop. When the day ended, the foreman placed a crumpled bill in his hand. $5. Ali stared at it. The edges were wet with sweat. His fingers trembled. He walked home through the quiet street. The sky was deep blue now, speckled with stars. Each step was heavy. Each breath was slow. He opened the door. Grandma looked up from her chair. Ali stepped forward. He placed the bill in her lap. It was dirty, but it was earned. Grandma looked at the bill. Her fingers hovered over it, hesitant. The room was silent, thick with something unspoken. Ali's chest rose and fell. His hands were scraped. His clothes clung to him, stiff with dust and sweat. His eyes searched hers. She picked up the bill slowly. The corners were torn. Her thumb brushed over the faded ink. "Where did you get this?" she asked, voice low. Ali swallowed. "I worked for it." Her eyes narrowed. "You worked? Where?" "At the construction site. All day." Her face froze. For a moment, she said nothing. The wind rattled the window. A kettle hissed softly on the stove. "You could have been hurt." Her voice cracked, not with anger, something else. Ali nodded. "I know." She looked at him longer, as if seeing him new. Not as a boy, but as something else now. Something heavier. She turned away, folded the bill carefully, set it aside. Then, she stood. Without a word, she moved to the sink. Filled a bowl with water. Took a cloth. "Sit," she said. Ali obeyed. She knelt beside him, wiped the dirt from his face. Her hands were rough, but gentle. The cloth turned dark. His skin turned pink where it had been hidden beneath grime. "You are too young for this," she said. Ali looked down. "I lost your money." Her hand stopped. "You lost $5. You brought back something more." Ali blinked. He did not understand. She leaned closer. "There is a kind of strength you only earn in pain." Ali's lips parted, but no words came. The room felt warmer. The shadows softer. The silence, less sharp. Grandma stood again, placed a piece of bread in his hand. He ate slowly. Each bite tasted like home. She watched him from across the table. The folded bill still sat between them. Worn, dirty, but not forgotten. And outside, the stars burned quietly. Watching, listening. The bread was dry, but Allie chewed with care. Each mouthful filled the quiet like a promise. His jaws ached, his arms throbbed, but inside him, something had settled. Grandma sat in her chair, her eyes never leaving him. The ticking of the old wall clock grew louder. It echoed in the corners of the room like a heartbeat. She reached for the folded bill again. Held it between her fingers. Looked at it as if it carried a story too heavy for its weight. "You worked like a man," she said. "But you are still a boy." Allie met her gaze. "I wanted to fix what I broke. You did more than that." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "You made me remember." Allie tilted his head. "Remember what?" She looked away, out the small window. The street was still, lit by a flickering lamp. She blinked slowly, her breath shallow. "There was a time I worked like that too. For 1 coin. For 1 meal." Allie sat still, barely breathing. He had never heard her speak this way. Not with softness. Not with memory. "It is easy to forget how hard the ground feels when your feet stop touching it," she said. "Easy to forget what hunger feels like when your belly is full." Allie nodded, though he did not fully understand. But her words stayed with him, heavy as stone. She placed the $5 in a tin box. Locked it. Set it on the shelf above the stove. "It will stay here," she said. "Not to spend, but to remember." Allie looked at the box. It was small, but now it carried sweat, fear, pain, and pride. He rose from the table. His legs were stiff, his body tired, but when he walked, he felt taller. Not older, just stronger. Grandma watched him walk to his corner mat. Watched as he lay down, curled up in silence. Then she turned off the lamp. The darkness came slowly, soft, complete, but in that darkness, neither of them felt alone. Morning crept in gently. Light spilled through the window in pale golden threads. The room was quiet, wrapped in the hush of early day. Allie stirred, his limbs heavy but rested. The aches in his muscles had dulled, softened by sleep. He sat up slowly, the blanket falling from his shoulders. Grandma was already awake. She stood by the stove, stirring something warm. The scent of tea and flatbread filled the air. She turned, met his eyes, and offered a small nod. Not quite a smile, but close. Allie walked over, bare feet brushing the cool floor. She handed him a cup. It was warm against his palms. They sat together in silence, sipping slowly. Outside, the street began to wake. Birds called, carts creaked, voices rose and drifted like smoke in the morning air. Grandma glanced toward the tin box on the shelf. Then back to Allie. Her voice was quiet, steady. "Not all lessons come with words," she said. "Some are paid in sweat." Allie nodded. He understood now. They finished their tea without rush. No more scolding, no more searching, just peace. The $5 were gone. Then found, then earned, and now, they would never be spent. Because sometimes, what you lose is only the beginning of what you find.